What is up, everybody? Chris, the Dice Degen on this channel, the Degen. How's everybody doing this week? Week 13 of the NFL season. Not too much longer, guys. There's only a few weeks left in the season. Your fantasy teams for the season-long fantasy playoffs are right around the corner, right? So, week 13 of our DFS slate. What are we looking at this week? Well, I'm going to tell you. All right, I will tell you. We're going to go over some injuries. We're going to go over the matchups, the analysis, and, of course, my picks. We will go over all of that, plus some more. All right, so real quick, though, Discord, link down below. All right, DFS Domination is the channel in that Discord. It's the Casino Gaming TV Discord. Get in the Discord if you're not there already. I post my picks on Sunday in that Discord, so get in the Discord. If you want to talk to me privately, Dice Degen Chris, that's my YouTube channel for craps-related content, all right? But you can DM me there. I am in the Discord, all right? If you have general questions, shoot them in the Discord there. Again, if you don't want to ask them generally, shoot me a DM there. You can also shoot me a DM on Instagram, Daily Fantasy Domination. I also post my picks there. Or you can email me, dicedegen@gmail.com. Whatever you want to do, whatever you prefer, hit me up. All right, if you have questions, hit me up. So, week 13, right? Big week this week. Lots of good matchups this week that we're looking to exploit. But let's go over these injury reports, all right? Some of these injuries are key to building lineups this week. So, Justin Fields and that shoulder, all right? He didn't play last week, right? There was some confusion with who was actually going to start. The Bears said Simeon was going to start. Then they said he was out for an injury, so Peterman was going to start. Then Simeon started. Who knows? Is Justin Fields playing this week? We'll find out. All right, it looks like he's on track to play, but we're not entirely sure, so we will keep a close eye on that because if he is playing, we might like some guys. If he's not playing, I'm staying away from all Bears players altogether. All right, Aaron Rodgers and the ribs, watching that one closely. All right, if he plays, which it looks like he will, we like some of their players. I don't love Aaron Rodgers personally. You guys know. I've said it before on the show. I'll continue to say it. He's not having a good year. He's not a good quarterback this year. It is what it is. Historically, he is a good quarterback, but this year, not so much. However, if he's not playing and you want to get some Jordan Love, he's very cheap this week. So if you do want to get him, there is a chance he starts. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we do like a Christian Watson and Aaron Jones, things like that. So keep an eye on the Aaron Rodgers injury. Travis Etienne and the foot injury, all right? They said that he could have came back last week while they were playing, and he said he was cleared midway through that third, fourth quarter, but they didn't want to bring him back in. So he should play this week, but if he's not playing this week, Hasty could be a good option. Again, he's also cheap, but look for Etienne to play this week. Again, no official word if he is playing or not, but I assume he is based off the reports I've been seeing. Christian McCaffrey, he's got the knee injury, all right? Very interesting spot there, so we're keeping an eye on that. I will touch on that injury a little bit more when we get to the running back picks that I like for this week, but we're keeping an eye on Christian McCaffrey. Joe Mixon and the concussion, right? He's been out. He should be back this week. Not entirely sure. P. Ryan had a great week last week for the Bengals. Look for Mixon to be back. However, if he's not back, again, you have that value with P. Ryan. We'll go into that a little bit more on the wide receiver discussion. Michael Carter with the ankle. All right, the Jets backfield right now. What's going on back there? We don't know. All right, if Michael Carter's not playing, how about Zonovan? Wow, I keep tripping over my words today. Zonovan Knight last week. He had a pretty good week. Potential upside there. We'll take a look at him a little bit later on. Najee Harris in the abdomen injury poses an interesting spot at that Pittsburgh running back position, especially against that Atlanta Falcons defense. We'll take a look there. Antonio Gibson, if he's out, love me some Brian Robinson Jr. Again, we'll see. And Jamar Chase should play. He could have played last week, I think, but I think they're being careful with that hip injury. So look for him to play this week, but we will see what they actually do by the time we get to the end of the week there as we get closer to game time. We'll see what they do. All right, so matchups. We have some interesting matchups this week, all right? For the 1 p.m. games, we have the Bears against the Packers, Vikings, Jets, Ravens, Broncos, Lions, Jags, Texans, Browns. Interesting game there. Deshaun Watson revenge. First game back. Well, let's talk about that. Falcons, Steelers, Eagles, Tennessee, Titans. And we also have the Giants and the Commanders, all right? So those are the 1 p.m. games. Obviously, the 4 p.m. games are on that main slate too. Eagles game is key this week. As you guys know, I'm a Birds fan, so go Birds this week. I will be at the game watching that Eagles defense absolutely shut down Derrick Henry. Hopefully, I'm not going to eat those words later on. Real quick in chat. Matthew, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so 4 p.m. games, 49ers against the Dolphins, Rams against the Seahawks, Bengals, Chiefs, and then we have the Raiders and the Chargers. All right, so looking at those games, you're like, oh, who the heck am I playing this week? Well, let's take a look at what Vegas likes. All right, you guys know my model builds in Vegas lines, but the over-unders are key this week in a few matchups, right? Jacksonville and Detroit's over-unders at 51, quite high. All right, Kansas City and the Bengals over-under is at 52.5. The Chargers and the Raiders over-under is at 50.5. And Miami and San Francisco, the over-under is at 46.5. So we have some interesting spots there on the overs that we're going to be looking to exploit. Obviously, Vegas thinks the over is going to be high. What does that mean? Touchdowns for our players. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. We got to pick the right guys. But as you guys know, I give out a lot of winners on a week-by-week basis, so I guarantee you I have some winners in this lineup here. Bye this week is Arizona, and the Panthers don't really care. All right, I like DJ Moore. I've been high on him all season long. I've given him out a couple times. Cardinals I don't really care about too much. Only Benjamin at the time, but that backfield's a disaster with Connor in there too. So those guys, I don't really look to exploit them. So we don't really care about them on a bye. It just is what it is. All right, so defensive ratings and rankings. All right, so on the left, as you guys know, that's my model giving out the defensive points allowed to each position. All right, so if you want to screenshot that, go ahead and screenshot that. I can post it if you guys want in the Discord or on Instagram. You can certainly do that, but that is points allowed to each position by each defense on the left-hand side there. Green is good. Green means go. Red means stop. All right, just like you're driving at a traffic light, green means go, red means stop. Red teams, we don't look to exploit against that position. Green, we go, full steam ahead. All right, and then overall defensive rankings on the right-hand side there from 1 to 32. All right, so the players I like this week. All right, the players I like, we're going to start with the quarterback position as we normally do. I'm going to flip screens here, and we will get this up. All right, so the guys in green are the guys I like. The guys in yellow I'm kind of iffy on them. All right, I don't love them. I don't hate them, and I'll tell you exactly why. All right, so the two guys in green, let's talk about them first. Justin Herbert against that Raiders team. That over-under, right? I said that over-under was at 50.5. Look for a lot of points in this game. Justin Herbert, he's been having a decent season, and the Vegas defense is awful, all right? They're 23rd overall, and they're 31st in points allowed to the quarterback. They're the second worst team in the league against the quarterback position. So, I love Justin Herbert this week. I also like Trevor Lawrence as a slight salary relief this week, all right? Playing against Detroit, 31st defense, so second worst in the league, and then they're the worst defense against quarterbacks, all right? They're 32nd. They allow the most points to quarterbacks. So, Trevor Lawrence could be a good option this week if you're looking to buy down a little bit. He's not a ton of salary relief, but on DraftKings, you can certainly get some salary relief with him being only $5,900. FanDuel, there's not much of a difference there. I'd go Herbert over Trevor Lawrence on FanDuel. However, if you're looking to stack a couple players, which we'll talk about later on, Trevor Lawrence might be a salary saver that you're going to need. All right, Patty Mahomes. I do like Patrick Mahomes this week against Cincinnati. All right, Cincinnati's defense 11th overall. They are 4th against the quarterback. My problem with Patty Mahomes is he's losing his weapons. Right, obviously the trades in the offseason, he lost a couple guys. Right now, Kelsey, he's the tight end, but you can really call him wide receiver 1 too. It is what it is. I don't love him this week, especially at that price tag. I'm looking at guys, like I said, Herbert, Lawrence, and we'll go over some other guys later on. But at that price tag, I do not like Patty Mahomes. Will he have a good week? Probably. He's going to throw the ball a ton because their backfield's a disaster. But it's not somewhere I can get up to him at this week personally. Jalen Hurts is another one. I do like Jalen Hurts. You guys know every single week he's on there. If he's on the slate, he's on one of my picks. All right. He's balling out last week. Did you watch him run that ball last week? Man, He was on fire last week running that ball. This week, he's playing against the Tennessee Titans. As I told you, I will be at that game already, so I will be rooting on my Birds this weekend. But defensively, the Titans are 8th overall. They are 27th against quarterbacks, though. 27th against quarterbacks, so they're bottom 5 teams in the league against quarterback. Jalen Hurts could be a good option this week for you. Joe Burrow, it's the flip side of the Patty Mahomes matchup. He's playing against Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is not good. All right, they're middle of the pack overall, 24th in the league against quarterbacks, so could be a good option there. If you want, again, a little bit of salary relief, I prefer Herbert and Lawrence. And talk about Tua. I don't love Tua at all this week. He's been balling out all season, but I do not like him at all this week. For that matter, I do not like any Miami teams this week. I'm going to tell you right now, the San Francisco 49ers are going to beat the Dolphins this week. They're going to cause them a lot of problems. All right, that defense for San Francisco is good. They are good. They are the best defense in the league overall. 6th against quarterbacks. Look for Tua to struggle this week. All right, I would stay away from him if you can. If you want, you can take him. I personally am staying away like that ex in high school. All right, stay away from Tua this week. That's just my personal opinion, though. Do what you want with it. Aaron Rodgers, the reason he's in yellow here is because of that injury update that I talked about before with his injuries to his ribs that he sustained against the Eagles. If he's playing this week, I don't think he's a viable option. If he's not playing this week, Jordan Love does become a viable option, so we'll talk about him. And then Jimmy G, the flip side of that Miami matchup, I do like Jimmy Garoppolo this week. Again, some salary relief there. Miami's defense is not good. They're middle of the pack overall, but they are 30th in the league, 3rd worst. Math. Third worst overall against the quarterback position. So I do like Jimmy G quite a bit this week. We're going to scroll down a little bit here to Kenny Pickett. I don't love him this week. He has good value on the model against Atlanta, but if you watch him play, he looks scared in the pocket half the time. I do not love him, but the model has him graded decently. Could be, again, good salary relief if you're looking for that. Jordan Love, I mentioned him before already. Playing against the Bears. If Aaron Rodgers is out, they are 30th in the league in defense, so one of the worst defenses in the league. They're 19th overall against quarterbacks. Could be a good salary relief if Aaron Rodgers is out. And one other person that I do want to mention here, let me find him. He's somewhere here. Oh, here he is, right there. Deshaun Watson, all right? Yes, I know he's in a revenge game. I know he's looking for his spot back in Cleveland playing against the Texans. Guys, he hasn't played in over a year, all right? Please do not buy into the hype on Deshaun Watson this week. Will he have a good week? Nobody knows, all right? So be careful if you're planning on taking Deshaun Watson this week. He hasn't played. We have no clue what he looks like. I would stay away from him as well. All right, enough of the quarterback position. Again, Herbert and Lawrence are my 2 favorites at the quarterback position this week. Let's move over to the running back position. Again, Christian McCaffrey, I already mentioned his injury, opens up an interesting spot for the San Francisco running back core if McCaffrey's out, right? Mitchell's already out for the season on IR, so that's going to leave us with Jordan Mason. If you want to take him, you can. Again, we're going to wait for that Christian McCaffrey news, but if McCaffrey's out, look for Debo to be running the ball out of the backfield quite a bit. All right, so we'll take a look at him later on. But my favorite running backs this week, Austin Eckler. All right, again, same thing with exploiting that matchup of just the terrible Las Vegas Raiders defense. They are, again, 23rd overall, 28th against the quarterback position. So they are bad. Sorry, against the running back position. They're bad. Austin Eckler, like him a lot this week. My favorite running back this week, and it's probably going to be highly owned, is Nick Chubb. All right, Nick Chubb's got one of the best matchups against that Houston defense, who is atrocious. All right, 20th overall. They are the worst against the run. Everybody runs all over them. All right, so take a look. Again, he's going to probably be highly owned, but we will see what happens there. But I do like Nick Chubb a lot this week. Another guy I like a lot this week is Aaron Jones against the Bears. All right, 30th overall defense, 27th against the running backs. Aaron Jones, look for him to have a good week this week. And Dameon Pierce, another guy I like. I don't love him. I do like his matchup. The model loves the matchup against the Browns, so it's the flip side of the Nick Chubb matchup. Again, bad teams against the run, right? Cleveland's defense, 28th in the league, 31st against the run. Bottom two defenses there. So you could take both of them. If you're playing in some kind of tournament, you can stack them. You get both sides of the rush attack there. Look for the ball to be run a lot in that game. Don't see a ton of passing happening. Look for a lot of running in that game. So Chubb and Dameon Pierce, if you want the flip side there. Derrick Henry, all right, pains me to kind of give him out this week because I am an Eagles fan, as you guys all know. I will be at the game, so I do not want to see him run all over my Eagles in person. Nothing worse than that. But as not a homer, the Eagles' defense has been quite rough against the run this year. All right, they're 23rd in the league against the run. They are the 9th best defense in the NFL, but they're 23rd against the run. They have struggled against the run. So Derrick Henry could be a good play this week. I do think that a lot of their offense is going to run through Derrick Henry. I don't see a ton of passing attack coming from the Titans this week, but Derrick Henry will probably have a decent week. So there he is. Don't need anyone telling me in emails or in comments that I am a homer because I'm giving out a pick against my own birds. All right, Josh Jacobs, again, against that Chargers team. Flip side of Austin Eckler, right? We're really looking at those 4 matchups that I indicated with those high totals. The model loves them. Why? Because the model builds in the Vegas lines as well as performance. So Josh Jacobs against the Chargers, 26th overall defense, 29th against the run. All right, so bad run defense there. Josh Jacobs could be a good play this week. Joe Mixon, I mentioned him earlier with the concussion. If he's out against Samaje Perine, he's highlighted there in yellow at the bottom of the screen. Could be a good option. If Mixon is out. If Mixon is not out, I don't love it. All right. If Mixon is in, at that price tag, I'd be going to either Aaron Jones and paying down a bit. I'd be going up and getting Nick Chubb. Up to you guys what you want to do. I don't love Mixon this week, but Perine could be a decent salary relief if you need it. Kansas City's defense, not very good. Middle of the pack overall. They're middle of the pack against the run. Some options there, though. Kenneth Walker this week. He's been beasting all season long ever since he took over the backfield. He's a stud, all right? Against that Rams team, I look for the Seahawks to get up kind of early there and just run them to death with just not a great offense coming from the Rams. Again, we don't know with the injuries to Stafford and the shoulder and the concussion. We'll see what's going on there. But Seattle, Rams matchup, interesting matchup there. Rams defense, middle of the pack overall, 8th against the run. I don't love Kenneth Walker, but he could be a good option. Travis Etienne against Detroit, terrible defense, so could be a good option there. Again, if he's out, Hasty becomes a very good choice and a good salary relief. As soon as that injury report comes out, though, if Etienne is indeed out, you got to jump on Hasty quick because his price will jump. But Etienne should be back this week, so I do like him. 31st overall for Detroit's defense, 19th against the run. Bad all around. Already went over Perine and Pierce. Some other options down the line here that could be good salary savers. Brian Robinson Jr. Against the Giants, they've been having a decent year, especially from the defense. They're 12th overall, and they're 20th against the run, though, so that makes it interesting, especially if Antonio Gibson is out. All right, if Antonio Gibson's out, you guys know they split the backfield. Gibson's out means Robinson is a green light in my book. But again, we do not know what's going on with Antonio Gibson at the current moment. James Robinson is highlighted because of the Jets backfield situation, right? Michael Carter is injured. He's on the report. We don't know exactly if he's going to play yet or not. If he doesn't play, personally, Zonovan Knight is a better running back, in my opinion, than James Robinson. So I have Robinson highlighted there. Got to look at the depth chart to see who they're going to start. I believe they will start Knight over Robinson. They're still going to split time, so be mindful of that. But Robinson could be a good option. And then, again, JaMychal Hasty, if Etienne is indeed out. Knight is highlighted down there for you as well. And another interesting backfield situation that I wanted to bring up was Pittsburgh, right? So if Najee Harris is out, like I said with the injury report, Warren is also questionable. Warren, they were looking for him to, have a good season this year, so we'll see what happens. He's questionable with an injury. If he plays, and Harris doesn't. I do like Warren quite a bit. If both of them are out, Snell Jr. becomes a good option there. So Benny Snell, he is right here. So if those two guys are out, Snell becomes a good viable option. And that'll round out my running back talk. But Jordan Mason season, yes, it may just be Jordan Mason season. We will see. Again, very dependent on the Christian McCaffrey news that comes out. Even if McCaffrey is out and Jordan Mason starts, do be mindful that Deebo Samuel will probably take half the snaps in the backfield. All right? It's just going to happen. Going over to the wide receiver position. All right? Wide receiver this week is an interesting spot. All right? Why? Well, Cooper Kupp shouldn't even be on there. He's done, but they still have him priced. It is what it is. Justin Jefferson. All right, I want to talk about Justin Jefferson real quick because he's in a terrible spot this week. Absolutely terrible spot. Be extremely mindful of his spot this week if you're going to pay up for him. All right? The thing with him, they're playing against the Jets. 4th overall defense, 3rd against the wide receivers, and Justin Jefferson will be guarded by Sauce Gardner. All right? Bad spot for Jefferson if you ask me. Terrible spot for Minnesota wide receivers altogether. The Jets are one of the best teams in the league against wide receivers, but be very mindful that matchup is brutal. I know Jay Jettis is really good, but that matchup is brutal. All right? Tyreek Hill, I already told you I don't like the Dolphins this week. I think they're going to lose this week because that 49ers defense is very good, best in the league. They are middle of the pack against wide receivers, so if you are taking anybody on the Dolphins, it would be Hill or Waddle. I don't love them. Again, there's other guys that I like a lot more, especially paying up at that price tag for Hill. Save a couple $100 and take Adams, or drop it down a little bit and take Jamar Chase. We'll talk about those guys in a minute. But just be mindful. Yes, I know the revenge game for Jeff Wilson Jr. Mostert might be back this week. There's going to be a lot of ball sharing there. If you really want to take somebody, you can. But again, be mindful. I think Miami stalls this week. All right, you heard it from the Degen first. Miami stalls this week. All right, here we go. Talk about my favorites. Keenan Allen is one of my favorite receivers this week. Again, against that Vegas defense, right? 23rd overall. They're 20th against receivers. Not good against receivers. So I like Keenan Allen, especially if Mike Williams is out. All right, so we're watching that Mike Williams news as well. If Mike Williams is out, I love Keenan Allen even more. If Mike Williams is in, my love for Keenan Allen drops slightly. Not a ton, but it drops a little bit. My other guy that I like a lot is Jamar Chase this week. Again, high totals, playing against Kansas City. All right, he should be back this week. Look for a revenge game. He balled out against Kansas City last year. All right, if you don't believe me, go look at Jamar Chase's stats from last year against Kansas City. I don't know off the top of my head. I think he had like 250 receiving yards, something like that. And double-digit catches and at least a touchdown, if not 2. He may have had more. I don't exactly remember, but I know he balled out last year against that Kansas City defense. And Kansas City's defense is even worse, if you ask me, this year. So, Jamar Chase, I like him quite a bit. A.J. Brown, this is kind of a homer pick, but Tennessee is terrible against wide receivers. They are the 2nd worst team in the league against the receivers. So, good overall defense. They're 8th overall, but they're 31st against receivers. So, look for A.J. Brown in the revenge spot against the Titans. All right? Could be a good option if you like it. Up to you. I also like Christian Kirk a lot against that Detroit team. 31st defense overall. They're 29th against receivers. So Christian Kirk is a good spot there. Devontae Adams, he is in yellow just because I don't love his price tag this week. All right? They are playing against the Chargers, who do not have a great defense, but high price tag. All right? If you're going to be spending up at the quarterback position or the running back position, you're going to struggle to get Devontae Adams on your roster. I'd personally go down to Jamar Chase. Just me. All right. Amon-Ra St. Brown against Jacksonville. Again, the flip side of the Christian Kirk. High total, 12th overall defense for Jacksonville, 24th against receivers. Do like Amon-Ra this week. Debo, I already mentioned him in the running back discussion, but I do like him as a wide receiver option as well. He gives you that dual threat with the run, with the pass. And like I said, Miami's defense, I think this week struggles. I think their offense struggles. Their defense is 18th overall. They're 14th against receivers. look for the 49ers to have a good week, and look for Debo to specifically have a good week. Devonta Smith is an option if you don't take A.J. Brown and you want some of that Titans' terrible defense against wide receivers. Devonta Smith is an option there. Up to you. Tyler Lockett. I like Tyler Lockett a lot this week against the Rams. They're 17th overall, and they are 23rd against the wide receiver position. So Tyler Lockett could be a good pick this week. Again, you guys know the guys who are on the screen that I don't have highlighted, it's not that I don't like them. I just don't love them. And there's other guys that I would take over them, like the guys I'm talking about. All right, Christian Watson, interesting pick this week. He had a decent week last week. His stats are slightly inflated by the Eagles playing a prevent defense in the fourth quarter and him getting a 63-yard touchdown pass. He didn't really do much before that, but he did get that pass for a touchdown. I know he cost quite a few people in fantasy and in DFS just because of that play. The Eagles' prevent defense let him just run all over them. That was from Jordan Love. Again, Jordan Love's stats are inflated from that as well, but Christian Watson is emerging as the wide receiver 1, and I don't think anyone can really argue with me that he is currently the wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. So I like him as a relative salary saver. And then George Pickens, also a good option against Atlanta. All right, I told you I don't love Kenny Pickett, but he's been throwing to George Pickens a lot. 29th overall defense for Atlanta, 30th against the wide receiver position. So I do like Pickens for salary relief. Zay Jones, again, playing against Detroit, right? If you don't have the money for a Christian Kirk, you can go grab it. Zay Jones. Zay Jones had a good week last week. Did he hit his ceiling? We're going to find out. I don't love the fact that he did so well last week. Look for the Lions defense to key in on that a little bit. But the Lions defense is just so bad. So, you do you. One of my other guys that I like a lot this week, and I'm scrolling down because he's down there a lot, but Chase Claypool, if Justin Fields plays, all right? Claypool, if Justin Fields plays. That is why we're watching the Justin Fields injury. I don't care about taking Justin Fields at the quarterback position, but I do care that if he plays, I like Claypool. If he doesn't play, Claypool's off my list, all right? Simeon, Peterman, throw anybody back there. I don't care. I don't like them. The quarterback position's bad other than Justin Fields. So if they are playing, though, Claypool, I do like him a lot this week. Tight end position. Let's talk tight ends. All right. These guys are all green because they all have the green light from me this week. My favorite, you're going to be like, wow, this is a genius pick. Yeah, he's the first one overall, Travis Kelce. I said it before. He's the wide receiver 1. He's the tight end 1. He is literally Patty Mahomes' number 1 everything. Cincinnati's defense, not good. Middle of the pack overall. Middle of the pack against tight ends. Look for him to have another good week. The only problem is the salary on him is high. So if you don't have the money to pay for him, I understand. However, this could be a week where you stack 2 tight ends. Travis Kelce basically plays like a wide receiver, so he gets you those points. The value is there. If you can afford a double tight end this week, could be a good option to add Kelce in there. My favorite tight end, though, this week is George Kittle against that Miami team. All right, they are 18th overall in defense. They are 30th in the league against tight ends, so I do love George Kittle a lot this week. Freiermuth is another guy I like against Atlanta, 29th overall defense, 22nd against the tight end position. David Njoku is another good one, 20th overall for Houston and that defense, 20th against tight ends. And then finally, 2 other guys, I guess. Foster Moreau, I do like him a lot this week against the Chargers, 26th overall, 23rd in tight end scoring. And Hayden Hurst, 15th overall for that KC defense, and 17th overall for the position against the tight end. So, good options there. But my favorite would have to be Kittle. And if you're going to pay down, I would go get Foster Moreau. Just my humble opinion. Defenses, you guys know I don't give a crap about defenses. Yes, they score a lot of points. Miami's defense put up like 30 last week. But I'm not looking to pay up to get a good defense and sacrifice salary elsewhere. So that's just my opinion on that. This week, though, the defenses I would like. I like the Rams defense. They're pretty cheap. On DraftKings, they're cheaper than they are on FanDuel. FanDuel are kind of expensive. If you're on FanDuel, I'm taking the Bears defense this week. Again, cheap option. plug them in. I'm looking for points out of my other guys. And then if you want to pay up a little bit, the Falcons defense against the Bears, especially if Justin Fields is out, the Falcons defense will have a good game, I think. They're not very good overall, but neither are Simeon and Peterman. So do what you want with that information. And we'll flip back to the mock lineups here. All right. Again, these are mock lineups. These are not lineups that I've actually submitted yet because of that injury news. Just some options here if you're looking to build with different guys that I've mentioned. All right. So first one, we're going to go over to DraftKings. Justin Herbert, Nick Chubb. All right. Two of my favorite guys this week. Favorite quarterback, favorite wide receiver, or favorite running back. Going with Brian Robinson, again, hoping for that Antonio Gibson injury news. If not, there's other guys you can plug in there. Going Lockett, Pickens, and Kirk. Foster Moreau at the tight end. And then we're going to go Dameon Pierce at our flex position with the Rams defense. All right. Not my favorite lineup. It's a decent lineup. Again, waiting for that injury report to actually create one of a favorite lineups. Another one, Trevor Lawrence, if you're paying down here, you go get Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson Jr., Jamar Chase, Christian Watson, Christian Kirk, Foster Moreau, and Ayuk. With the Bears defense, I like that lineup quite a bit. But again, we'll see what happens with injuries and stuff like that. And then finally, we got Garoppolo, Pierce, Etienne, Lockett, Pickens, Deebo Samuel, Freiermuth, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Here we're looking for a little bit more wide receiver depth. We do have solid running backs in there, but we're looking for those good wide receivers in this lineup. So that's on DraftKings. FanDuel, going to go Justin Herbert, Dameon Pierce. Again, my two favorites there. Herbert and Chubb are my two favorites. Then we're going to go Pierce, Kirk, Claypool, Lockett, Foster Moreau, Pickens, and the Bears. Again, these lineups are going to be very, very similar between the two. I've mentioned a lot of these guys already, but just showing you some different options where you can build. If you don't like one of these players, you can certainly stack in somebody else. It's up to you. Up to you. I give you a lot of information. Up to you what you want to do with it. Another lineup with FanDuel, Trevor Lawrence, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones. So we're really stacking the running backs in this one. Our wide receivers are a little bit to be desired. I do like these guys this week, but this is probably my favorite lineup that I created all week. Again, but it depends with the injuries. We'll see what happens. But Lawrence, Eckler, Aaron Jones, Tyler Lockett, Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel, Hayden Hurst, Brian Robinson Jr., and the Bears defense. Again, that Bears defense will be plugged in everywhere because they're cheap. And they actually have a decent matchup against Green Bay. It is what it is. Why are my slides not switching? Here we go. All right. Then the final lineup, $600 saved. Mind you, you could do something with that. I just put this together quickly. Jimmy G, Dameon Pierce, Zonovan Knight, again, if Michael Carter is out. Pickens, Jamar Chase, Claypool, Travis Kelce, Aaron Jones. This lineup is absolutely stacked, if you ask me. The one thing I like about this lineup is there's $600 to spare. So if Zonovan Knight is not the number one guy, if Michael Carter's playing, you have Zonovan Knight salary plus the 600. You can go get somebody. I like this lineup a lot. All right, this is one of this actually is my favorite. I think I said the last one's my favorite. This one's my favorite. I just make my decisions on the fly. This one's my favorite right now. All right, Jimmy G, good matchup. We got solid running backs here. We have two solid wide receivers, if you ask me. We have Kelce. Great lineup here. If I do say so myself, pat myself on the back for that one. Again, it's Thursday. We have until Sunday to make our picks, so we'll talk about that. Some stacks if you're playing in single game entries or tournaments. The Chargers stack with Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen. The Cincinnati stack with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. Jacksonville stack, Lawrence, Etienne, Kirk, Zay Jones. Up to you. The San Francisco stack, Jimmy G and Deebo. And Kittle, I didn't put him in there. Kittle would be in that stack as well. And then Kansas City, the Mahomes, the Kelce, and Sky Moore is an interesting option this week. If Kelsey's not getting the ball, it's probably going to be Sky Moore. But, again, I don't love him this week. He does have a great salary relief if you're interested in Sky Moore. But up to you guys. Up to you, right? All right, so what is next? What is next? Obviously, Sunday morning, I will give out my picks. They will be out very early Sunday morning because I'm going to the Eagles game. Like I said, I'll be tailgating, so I will not be sending my picks out too far advanced into game time. If there is something that changes right before the game, I will try to let everybody know, but be mindful of the injuries, all right? So that will be out Sunday morning on Instagram, in the Discord, and on Twitter as well. Next live show is next Thursday at 7 p.m. I like this time slot. Let me know what you guys think about this time slot. Right before the Thursday night game, kind of leads you right in there, right? Like a little pregame into the Thursday night game. Let me know. All right, December 8th at 7 p.m. Office hours. If you guys want to chat with me in Discord, let me know. Just shoot me a message, and I will hop in the voice room with you on Discord, and we can chat. Again, DFS Domination on Discord, all right? And email if you want to ask me a specific question. You can email me, dicedegen@gmail.com. If you want to DM me on Instagram, it is Daily Fantasy Domination. If you want to DM me on Twitter, it is Daily Fantasy Domination. If you want to DM me in the Discord, it is Dicedegen Chris. All right, and that will bring us to the end of the show, Week 13, guys. Good luck this week. Hopefully these picks have helped you. Hopefully you have some things to think about this week. Again, Sunday morning, the rankings will be out as they always are. And whatever you do, guys, this week, smash it. And I hope you guys are successful in your season-long fantasy this week. I hope you guys are successful in your DFS this week. And if you are, let me know. Send me some screenshots of those tickets of you guys winning with these players. And I'll see you guys next week. All right? Degen is out.